Chop, chop. There we go.
All set? Okay, so we'll call the April 10th, 2013 meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. And see, the first thing would be the minutes, which should be in the package there, from last year.
Okay.
And that was the February 20th meeting.
Chairman here.
The candy.
Two people get first shots.
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes of February 20th of 2013.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion, so we'll vote on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes shall have it, and we'll accept the minutes as written.
Mr. Chairman, should we also make sure that our two new members are shown as abstaining at this point in time, since they were not here at the last meeting?
Yeah, we could do that. Okay, the next thing we have is on the agenda would be election of a chairman, and we'll get a vice chair to that.
I make a motion. I make a motion to nominate John Scanlon for chair.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to elect John Scanlon as chair for the upcoming year. Any discussion? I'll do it. We're prepping other people for next year so we can float around here a little bit and get some different methods here. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, the next thing is vice chair.
I nominate Wayne Bach.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to nominate Wayne Brock as vice chair for the upcoming year. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? So moved. Wayne Brock will be the vice chair. Okay. We're off.
Okay. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
You feel like a little kid down there.
Oh, who's that?
You want some milk and cookies?
This was meant for Catherine.
Okay.
Longer legs than me.
What we've got, one of the things that the state has always in the past, I guess we bought them from the state previously, or
Yes.
apparently now, the book, The Basic Law of Budgeting, it's a really good book, explains how it all works and everything. Apparently now it's downloadable, but we still pay for it.
Yes.
So,
I was going to say, I talked to Joyce. She had to leave before the meeting started. But she said, if you want copies, so let her know, and she'll download it tomorrow, and then we can make copies from it. She didn't know how many of you had it, just wanted copies for the new members.
Right.
And
Okay.
then in the fall, late fall, the 2013 budget process will take place.
Question, the downloadable, are they only in paper form, or can they be
PDF.
downloaded to PDF on a computer?
They're PDF.
PDF on the computer?
So they're emailable
So the
then?
download would not be paper, it would be on the computer itself,
or if you
But
want
then
to print it.
she will print it on paper.
if you need it printed.
You need it.
You can, yes, she can, we have one complimentary one that's free. that we can get.
If you sign up to go to the class, which I highly recommend to anybody new on the budget committee, you check with Joyce, I believe she has a schedule. Oh,
think it's
okay,
in the-
all right, the schedule right
In
here.
the package.
They'll give you a copy of the book too, so.
I guess before we go any further, what I should then is introduce everybody, if there's new people watching, so we can go around the circle and...
Oh, that means me.
Yes, Eric.
Thought we started over there. My name's Eric Byron. This is my starting my second year on the budget committee.
And my name's Jane Alden, and it's my 3rd year.
Wayne Brock, 1.5 years.
And I'm John Scanlon. I'm not sure, it's close to around 10 years.
Many.
I lost count.
Stanley Brown, first year.
Pat Constantino, Selectman. I'm the alternate ex officio, and Catherine Dawson normally is the ex officio.
I'm John Bossy, first year.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really fun. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to need is a list, so of the, how many copies we need. So that would be
John
copy.
and Stan, do you want to stay? Go ahead.
Stan.
I would like a copy. I think I'm going to go to one of the classes also.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to have a copy, but an electronic one if possible. I hate to see it be, 150 pages printed out,
Yeah, well, you can get the electronic, and then we can always copy it if you need it.
Yeah, I'd like an electronic copy too, just so I can put it on my iPad as a PDF.
We'll make it electronic too.
Are we allowed to give out electronic copies? Is copyrighted to be able to make a certain number of copies or as many as we
We can,
want?
as the budget committee. To other people, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we need to
Because
ask
you
that
assume
question.
I can make 10 different copies of the same book, but
I think
Whereas
maybe not.
where they sell them, and I think
it's copyrighted.
it's
But the-
copyrighted,
yeah.
right,
So for your own
Copyright
use.
infringement.
right, so it would
But
be
like
for the
software,
municipal.
if you had a
License.
version of
Share the
it, how
file.
many can you give? Are you allowed to give it to the whole group? Or,
There are some that
you
are,
know, it's just,
because it's municipalities, I think there's some are copyrighted and some are limited. Others are not.
Okay, so,
wouldn't want to get
We could find that out.
Two.
okay, so Wayne, Eric,
Electronic, please. It does no copyright.
does anybody... Electronic?
Electronic.
None, Eric?
No, there's like no,
So maybe the PDF? We don't know if that does or not. Is that 2010,
11.
11?
She said everybody got a budget for 12. I didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, I didn't think we did.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, there is a copyright.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's in the, over the money.
Okay, so-
There was just an email that was sent tonight about an hour ago with it.
That was the budget.
That was from Tim Pearson,
This
Finance
right here.
Yeah,
Director.
okay.
Okay, so we've,
This is
Look at
this.
this.
1, 2, 3,
I like an electronic
Four.
copy.
I'm set.
Electronic.
5.
Yes, please.
I should probably get 1, 2, and...
We
Which
have them
I've-
put on our drives.
Yeah, it's on there.
Got
So
nothing to
it
do.
looks like everybody. And then the next thing is, in here, we have classics really good, if you can make it April 3rd and May 11th. What day is May 11th? That's Friday. Ooh, that's in Dover.
But there are two others on Concord. Saturday, May 4th and May 11th.
Oh, I see.
Saturday, May 11th,
Well, it's
and Saturday, May
basic and
4th.
in-depth.
Right.
Looks like the
So you
basic
would want the
workshops.
basic first, and then
Yeah.
you would want the second one.
Looks like the basic is the same, it's just 4 different dates.
Right, so you'd
4
want
different
one of these
locations.
and then one of these.
Like one of them.
registration fee.
Well, actually, look at the hours on
And you
this.
get breakfast
This
and
might be
lunch.
more, this might be a short version, and this might be an
Well, don't count on
all-day.
breakfast.
Where do you see
Some of them are good and some aren't, depends on.
I went to one years ago.
Depends on what.
April
Actually, they
3rd,
came
mail out
here
9
and
a.m.
did something with us years ago.
So
They
they
actually
all-
showed up and went over it.
I don't know what they mean with in
Gotta
the...
go Keene, Moltenberg.
Well, the whole thing is the same time.
Oh, so this,
Well, the in-depth has different topics, too.
Well, the first two have already gone by, so
Right to know law.
yeah.
so it's either Gorham or Dover.
Not like a road trip to Gorham.
It is a road trip.
And then
So
the
what
May
we-
4th
if anybody wants to go,
actually has budget.
I'll pass this
law
one around,
meeting.
and we'll sign our name next to which one
But-
want to go to.
You have to sign up for the town car,
I will
then?
be on a cruise boat on the 23rd, so. it's-
You could cancel that,
Yeah, I could.
or we could all go with you.
I was gonna say, we have to down.
You have to sign up for the town car for that, those nights,
Think,
those days, Saturdays. I don't think,
I've had both. You didn't go there.
just, John, when you put your request in for how many people are going to go,
So we'll go both.
and if you want to take the town car, just write a little note to Joyce and say, we would like to take the town car because there's 4 people going,
Okay.
or whatever. And then she'll put it on the calendar and make sure that you have access to the key and...
Okay.
Is it actually a town car?
It's an old police car. It's the detective's car, actually. We finally got it.
It's not the Frankenstein car, is that the one?
No, it's a detective's, the 03, the cruiser,
We've got,
detectives. It's a black.
At the Public Works, Arthur is great. He does all the mechanics work for the police department, and patches, keeps those things going, and saves us a lot of money.
Last year, he put 3 different cruises to make one.
Franklin car.
That's a
Town car.
Franken car. Paints it, and, you know,
This year, we have the old detective's vehicle, because they got a new cruiser this year.
Yeah, I don't know what I can do.
I'm not sure yet for me. So-
Yeah, I'd have to check my schedule also.
Okay.
So you need to let Johanna know,
Okay.
or Joyce. Johanna, right? You?
Looking at the Saturday ones.
Yeah, I think the Saturday ones are,
I want to go to the basic one also beforehand, but sure.
Okay, so we've got that, we've got minutes. So what we'll do is, we'll be meeting, let's see, second Wednesday of every month. I don't have a calendar in front of me. Traditionally, we've taken off, like the 4th of July, I think, or something. Joanna might remember.
Over there, John, over there. Should be a spread. Cardboard one.
No?
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, wait.
Johanna's got one.
There we go.
And the other thing we do is, we try and schedule one meeting at the police station and one at the Public Works. It's where a lot of our budget gets spent, so that way they can show us things that they're looking at doing or have completed, give us an idea, you know, what we're working with. Okay, so here's the 10th, new moon. Be May 8th, I don't see any holiday conflicts with that. June 5th, I don't see anything there.
I'm out of town.
With June 5th or with June 12th?
on June
I'm
5th.
sorry, June 12th. Yep,
It's the second, right?
June 12th. July 10th. August 14th. And then we'll start getting into the scheduling of the...
Are you skipping a week?
The agencies.
Or no?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know. Usually in the summer, we'll skip a month. A lot of people have vacation, like July or August.
But we usually skip July.
Is it July? Sound good? Yeah, sometimes the 4th shifts around into that week, so we do it, but you want to skip July 10th then? Sound good? Okay,
Sounds good.
So we will not meet on July 10th.
I think last year you really did the police station, and August we did the highway.
Yeah, we
Is
did.
August for the highway?
Yeah.
August early in the year. The years blend together. So we can see if maybe we could do...
If I might make a suggestion on that, I think because of the unpredictability of the chief and getting together and doing the police station, I think we should probably schedule them first in case something happens. We can always do the highway because they're in the winter. I mean,
Yep.
it's the summer, it's not the winter, and we're not going to have a storm, but the unpredictability of the chief, and if there's something going on, he has to go. Sometimes that gets rescheduled.
Want to do, I don't know if we want to go as early as May. Do you have any new cars coming this year?
We have them.
They're all in. You can show us one of the new cars,
The Interceptor.
what they've got. When's Motorcycle Week? That's...
It begins on Father's Day.
I think that 12th would be middle of Bike Week.
Yeah, so we probably don't want to do it then. Yeah, well, why don't we ask and see if he's available on the 8th of May. If not, we can move it up. And that would have to be at the police station.
They usually happen in the evening as well? or-
Yep, same time, 7 o'clock.
Brief tour and kind of get to know what they're talking about.
And then go for maybe August 14th at the DPW. I think later on we can...
And the June 12th one will just be a regular meeting?
Yep. Well, the June 12th would be at the police station. It's a regular meeting, but...
No, the May 8th is the
May
day.
8th.
I'm sorry, May.
The June 12th will be here, unless we have to reschedule.
Yep, June is the only...
They won't be available on June 12th, because that's Bike Week.
That's right.
It's all hands on deck. Even weeks, sometimes up to 2 weeks after.
Understandable. When's the next card, too?
It's June and
Probably
September.
not so much up here.
The end of June.
Oh, I see. So there's also a supplementary book for updating the 2010. Or if we go with the 12, we'll be all set and up to date. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for scheduling things for now. Then we can set up the schedule towards for the after that. At the August meeting, we'll just plan on scheduling the rest of the year, see how that works out. And then we'll fill it in with the agencies as they send in their wants.
Yeah.
The next thing, we've got some financial reports.
Why is administrative travel expense up to 43%? The town hall?
We only budgeted $100, and we had a few instances where the town car was already out,
Yeah.
and therefore we had to pay, when the town car's out and somebody else has to use it for a conference or class, we pay them mileage.
What administrative fees?
That's because they're paid once a year, and they're paid at the beginning of the year, so that's why that was. And why is the police department spent, wait a minute, 89% of their advertising budget? I think that's what it is, just a minute, I have to find the
Equipment
page.
purchases, anything advertising.
Where are you, Jane?
Line number, page 3.
Yeah. The top one, the advertising is
Yeah.
3% spent already.
Very top one, on page 4.
Page 4,
PD advertising.
line 350.
$300, 251 expended.
Yeah, what, why do, if they spent it all in the beginning, though?
I'll have to get back to you. Can't answer that totally. I have an idea, but that's not fair to the new one.
What equipment have they purchased?
We've purchased the vehicles. We have 2 vehicles,
No, that's not-
the Interceptor and the 2 Interceptors. We've also had to, equipment purchases would be the lights, the strobes, LEDs.
I don't think that's,
So now do we have 4 of those interceptors? We had 2 last year.
There are 4 total, yes.
That's one of the things we'll ask, is like a list of the vehicles and the new numbers, because they have numbers for them.
That's what I was looking.
Advertising, hopefully,
I know that there's some because we have hired, we've put out a
this isn't cars, though.
new police officer. There are some, I'm not sure if that's the time to bring it up, but we've made some changes in the PD. There have some changes because we've lost an officer, and so we've hired a patrol officer, and they're now in the state, he advertised for that, and they're now in the stages of the oral boards, and from the oral boards, they'll choose the top 3 candidates, and then they'll go through the rest of the tests, written and so on.
Is that like an entry level, or?
Yes, it is an entry level.
And
Yes, it is.
What officer did we lose?
We lost Merrick Wisensee.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Did he go to another department, or?
He went to a computer company.
Do what?
Went to a
He
computer.
went to a computer company.
He's been around for quite a few years.
12 years.
Investigation expenses. Investigation expenses, 43% spent
Yeah.
already. Drug investigation.
And then the other 77%. The all do this.
I can fill you in on another purchase, but I prefer to do it in a non-public because it is around public safety. And so on the PD. And if you want to do that at the end of the meeting, I'll be more than happy to update you with that.
Is that something that, I forget what the, there are certain categories of things?
I believe it's J, public safety.
Public safety? Okay. You'll see if, a lot of times it's hard for Tim to get a spreadsheet out because we meet at the beginning of the month and he's still doing the stuff. We tried to see if we could get something, a draft one in the Friday before the meeting so that, he could look at it over the weekend.
Also, one of the issues is that Merrick was the IT person at the PD. And during the process with this first quarter, the PD server went down. So we had to purchase a new server, and with Merrick leaving, we have to make some changes, and the Board of Selectmen have not discussed the changes that we need to do, so it's not written in stone yet. We're still doing our brainstorming and doing our homework. But Tim has had to fill in where Merrick is now not there. So he's had to do some of the IT and the server work as well.
Is there a completion date when that's going to be?
The server is up and running.
The server's up and running,
That's
but
the new
getting
one.
everything
That's
else?
That they
correct.
budgeted.
But right.
So at this point, Tim's pretty well spread around,
Yes.
because he's here, the police station, and doing some work in Northfield at the same time. Is he doing the camera, is he doing any work over there?
No.
No.
Helping out with the fire department?
No, the fire department just borrowed the camera.
Just set it up.
I mean, to set up their website or something?
No, he
Here.
no, he set up their initial website on his own time, at home initial website. So the audio portion of it, when they approved it at town meeting, he will help them along to get their video onto a website. So he'll be doing that, just as a courtesy, neighbor to neighbor. That won't take an exorbitant amount of his time at all. His time will be spent between the highway department here at Town Hall and PD.
Okay.
So, if you will, the IT guy.
Who's also the police chief.
No, he's the finance director. /
When he was
IT.
hired for that position, was there a percentage on what time he had spent on IT compared to what he would spend time as a financial officer?
No, when he was hired, he was originally hired as a finance director. And then we were spending an exorbitant amount with a computer company. And having the background he has, we were able to, when he first came on, there was a lot of problems with the accounts and audits and so on and so forth. They were backlogged, so he got all those up to date and cleared, and with the assistance of our part-time bookkeeper. And the part-time bookkeeper was all done, and things started to ease up a little bit, and he took on some responsibility of IT. And then it was 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, 2. What we did is we did away with the IT company that we were spending about $12,000 a year in, and every little thing we'd call them for, it was costing us money. And then Tim became the IT person, and we upped his salary. I believe it was $3,000 at the time. It was between 3 and 5 initially.
I thought it was 5, but it was 5.
5. And then it was just town town hall, and then he took on more responsibility. So then his duties became finance, IT. And that's when it became that. So he's doing more and more in town reports.
Okay.
He does all the town reports in-house to save us
So there
about
was no,
$3,000 or $4,000.
when he was hired for the position, there was no split in time, in
No,
Oh.
no. So he tries to balance between the two. The only rough time, I shouldn't say the only rough time he gets is the end of the year, first of the year, when his audits are due.
Yeah.
And the end of the year, first of the year, when the MS5s and all of those MS1s and 2s are all due. That's when it becomes difficult, if a system goes down. But he has such a great system now because everything was so antiquated. We've been on like a 5-year plan. We'll replace so much this year, so much next year. Most of it is now in a good place where we're not really falling all over the place. I mean, he knows he has a pretty good idea of what's going to go down and what's not going to go down. And
The same person servicing it every time, and somebody was using it all the time, so...
and so it's worked out well for us, and it's saved us. We kept a $2,000 contingency in case Tim went on vacation. We would have to go back to that computer company, but we never seemed to have to go back to them. Tim took care of all of the issues, so it's worked out well for us.
The police started this year with a couple of projects that they were working on. One was replacing the repeater?
Yes,
Has any progress? And the other part was they were replacing some of the radios, I believe, at the same time?
Yes, the state gave us 12 radios this year, so they were replacing the radios. That was grant money that we were replacing the radios. The repeater, I believe, is done. And they've switched over.
And the radios are in progress. They were being worked on this past weekend.
Right.
Okay. Because that was one of the projects, plus the server that they were looking at doing as quickly as possible.
Right. The server is in and it's working.
Have they noticed any difference in the dead spots? Do we have any kind of report back that, because they were saying...
No, but I should ask him that.
we can do is make a list of questions and
Yeah.
maybe forward them over to him, things that we'll discuss, and have him show us all.
That would be good for the May 8th meeting and
Right.
ask him that
And
question.
I'm only saying that because they put it as a real rush priority.
Yes.
These were the two issues that were really
Had to
Well,
active.
before.
And so, if they're being worked on, that's great, because we don't want to see them pushed off towards the end of the year.
well, we were the only town that was asked to go to, we were the only one that was available to have space on that repeater.
Right.
So it was a huge do it now.
Yeah, because I don't want to lose it.
Exactly.
That's one of the things over the years we've had problems with is dead spots in town for communications. And we've tried a couple different things. We've tried different towers and systems. And now we're over on Belknap Mountain with
With the state
digital
police
system.
in the
or
Belknap
something.
County, right. It's a digital.
So we don't get those dead spots.
So if you could ask the chief if he could come up with some of the list of projects that he's now engaged in.
Yep.
For the May 8th meeting.
Sure.
And where they stand at this point in time. Because I know at the same time they were also replacing some of their vests, the bulletproof vests that they were using. And so if we could just get an update on where they are in progressing with the safety issues.
Let me correct you just on that. They were not replacing the vest. They were adding a new type of vest. It's what they call the portable vest, which they have in their vehicles that would withstand a rifle shot, so that they could pull it right from the trunk and put it right over all of their vests in their equipment. Right. So each vehicle has one, and the chief has one in his vehicle.
But that was the end of last year, though, wasn't it?
Right, and they have that.
That wasn't this year's.
Right.
I was encumbered into last
Encumbered
year's.
funds, yep.
Okay.
There is a program where they in now, where he gets 50% for vests, reimbursement on vests. So if there's anybody that needs a replacement vest, he would know that and put in for the grant monies. It's April, May, where he has to have that monies in, and then he gets reimbursed 50% of that vest.
But also, Denny was encumbering a new truck within his last budget. Did that come to fruition?
For highway, you mean, or?
Yeah, for highway.
Highway, it's being built, right? We don't have it. It's here, and it's being built, right? The chassis here.
Now, I think there was some, last year, the motorcycle, we hadn't gotten reimbursed yet from AutoServe.
I think we did.
I think we did. I
Yeah.
don't remember Jim saying right towards the end of the year.
Right, we got
Yeah,
it.
he said would be.
Yeah. AutoServe pays for the lease of the motorcycle.
So, and is that happening again this year, do you know? We'll ask
Don't
him
know.
that.
We'll ask
Just
him.
ask the motorcycle, or if there's any more special gear that's needed for that. One of the things we've always, a few people in the budget committee have discussed, whether or not we utilize it enough to rationalize having a motorcycle. AutoServe pays for it and reimburse us at the end of the year, so like a grant. I think the only expense, I don't know if they reimburse for painting and all that, radios on it.
They paid, no, they paid for the train, they paid for the lease, and then they paid for, Tilton School paid for the SWAT dues, $2,600. They don't pay for the striping. Where we had to return the bike, it would be 2 years we had it, we didn't have the striping 2 years. We didn't have to stripe. Now it would
we had
be
2
another
years.
one. Yeah, we had it 2 years, now we would get another one.
See, is that already worked in the budget, do you remember? Or
No,
that would probably come under his vehicles or
I don't
maintenance.
believe it is.
I don't know if anyone read in the paper today, but just to go switch the subject in a different direction. I know that we switched our utility electric company. I don't know, one of those other companies, but the Department of Public Utilities approved a rate that if you go back to PSNH, you can actually pay a lower rate. So I don't know if it's something to look into.
Tim watches that very, very closely. We can, even though we go to another company, we may only stay with that other company 1 or 2 months, and then he goes back as soon as he starts to see it go up.
Well, this is the thing where, like, if you had switched.
He does, he watches it like a hawk.
We only use it as part of our service, and only during certain parts of the year.
Yeah, it was just something that,
Yep.
that it was in the Union Leader today, and I just saw the headline, but it was basically if you switched, even at home, if you switched from PSNH to like ENH or something like that.
So maybe I should switch to the other company and then
Go quick
switch
and
back
Right,
to get a
that's-
lower
you know,
rate?
Yeah, if you haven't switched, there was people were up in arms because if you stayed loyal,
Yeah.
you get penalized.
Oh, well, I'll switch,
So switch and then switch back.
and then switch back, yep.
Is there any update on pay-as-you-throw at this point in time?
They are going after it. Every week they have meetings. We are meeting with them tomorrow, next week. And we're doing some researching on the bags. We did sign a contract with Bestway. They will be doing the pay-as-you-throw. So they've started to order the containers. The selectmen are working out the details with the, in conjunction with the recycling. It's ongoing. Yeah, right now, it's, everything is kind of up in the air right now.
It's targeted for July still, or?
July. Yeah.
Now, at the end of this budget cycle, it'll go from the warrant article to the operating budget? Hopefully, that's what the plan is at this
Right.
point in time.
Right.
So, in this year, this budget will come That, and with that, will we be getting a monitoring of the money that's being taken
Yes.
in?
Yes.
And the money that's being expended, even
Right.
though it's still under the warrant article until the end of
Right.
the year? So we will still be getting that information as we're building the new budget to include that.
Right. Yes. Hopefully, one washes the other as you get.
Right.
A part of our responsibility, we need to think about the color of the bag, the size of the bag, the thickness of the bag, and the cost of the bag to the residents. You know, what to charge for the bag, and where to put the bags, what retailers to put the bags at. So those are the things now that we have a couple of weeks to think on, and what we would like to do and put them out there, how we're going to get them out, how we're going to distribute them to the residents, those kinds of things.
Is there any flexibility on the price of the bags to the town? Is it a bid
They're
process?
looking, right now, they're interviewing a couple of companies that wholesale the bags. And so...
Joe was in a meeting all day today to
Yeah.
resolve some of the issues that are outstanding.
Joe Jessamine, our other selectman, he's been on recycling committee. He's the one that gives us the information
This
on
meeting.
Thursday evenings.
Nobody.
You might want to invite the recycling here, and if you have questions about it, that would probably be towards the end of, sort of June-ish or so. Might be a good idea.
But the other issue I'd like to bring up, we were talking a little before the meeting, is the amount of paper that we're creating, even for the Budget Committee. And wondering if there was a way that we could take some of the paper and put it on the computer that we could use here to look at records instead of having the paper, being able to access both the internet here, and then to have this on a computer so that we could actually not have to spend as much money as we do making all the copies.
Sort of like a projector, you mean?
No, individual computers, we all have either iBooks or
Oh, you
our
all
own
have them?
computers. So that's sent to us so that we can, instead of Joanna having to make these up every day or every time that we meet, that it's on the computer, that we can just have access to that by computer here.
I think if Tim sends them out, and we, when do you typically print these up? Before the meeting?
Just before the meeting, generally. Tim will often print them up.
So anybody,
These today.
And they're emailed to us, so it is available on our computer.
Yeah, I got the email and I can pull it up on my
Yeah.
iPad.
So if we could make the commitment to use computers and have access to us that have the internet here, to be able to access the internet.
For those that you have if you all have computers,
have
fine.
an iPad.
I don't think, Jane doesn't have a laptop.
Yeah, I
so-
don't.
I do have a laptop.
Okay.
I have a notebook and a laptop.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
yeah,
I can
anybody,
pull it up on my phone, but
That's too tiny to be reading.
God, you did a magnifying glass.
One of them is not just, it's just cost after so often.
It's a great idea.
And we were talking about the notebooks. That's what brought it forward, because we stuff that amount of paper into a notebook, which means not only are we paying toner, paper, but Joanna's time to put collate and all this wonderful stuff when it's already being presented to us on the computer. And that also is a good reminder for us to take a look at it before we get to the meeting, so we
yeah,
can
what we
take a
could do
look.
is, if anybody
I
wants
do
to
that
opt
anyway.
out on a hard copy, can let Joanna know, and then we'll opt out.
Gee,
I'd rather have it all electronic.
I would suggest having one copy of everything in case someone's computer doesn't work or doesn't get it in time, something happens,
Well, we could have the chairperson's copy.
Sure.
That we
Yeah,
could-
I wouldn't have access to a computer that's,
No, but you'd have the chairperson's
Yeah.
copy. So if we needed to take a look at the hard copy, you would have one copy available.
And if somebody wants a copy, they can print it at home and bring it in. I'm not opposed to doing that myself.
Well, it's 37 pages a month, though.
Yeah.
It only gets longer from there.
I've sneaked a couple up.
Well, we started this discussion when they handed me that binder and laughed.
I mean, this is my first time here, and I brought my computer.
well, you will need to refer to that later on, and they're often questions that we referred to things 2 and 3 years back. What did we do? So that's why that's provided, so that you can keep the records there.
A lot of times, yeah, the monthly expenditure and budget report, a lot of times that's good for that month. The next month you don't need it. So that would help. You know, the requests from the different agencies and some of their handouts are good to have.
Absolutely.
For the year.
What I'm suggesting is we start with just this at this point in time. Then if we find out that this is working okay, then we can maybe move to the meeting minutes or whatever, just to kind of cut down on some of the paper that we have to create. First off, we create it, and then Joe will have to bag it in a pay-as-you-throw bag or whatever, and recycle it.
So how many hard copies? I'll still need a hard copy. There's one.
Catherine will.
Catherine.
Although Catherine,
How much do these cost? Do you know? Can you give us a,
How much we pay per sheet? Paper?
I mean, how much it costs? Because we print so much on the computer downstairs. And I mean,
what were the
you know.
copies? 6 cents a piece or something? 4
Page.
cents?
Yeah, it depends on the kind of paper we use.
Right.
That has a very...
Well, I mean, you
Right.
use the cheapest paper for these, I would think. And is there any idea, I mean, what kind of savings we're talking?
The last time we talked about it, you were saying it was about 6 cents. You know, but, you know,
So if we-
I don't know.
Can you add up?
A lot of these prices, the things, kind of sales.
Plus, it also will show people that if we're going to be serious about it, pay-as-you-throw, that we as a committee can take a look at recycling ourselves.
I'm not sure if that would work, though, when the company, when your outside agencies submit things, whether or not you want it all online, or for that type of submission. I don't know if that's what you want.
I was going to say, do your copiers have a scan function?
Well, we have scanners, yes. We do have scanners. I mean, you could scan it. Do you have one of those scanners up here? See, I mean, we could. I don't know if everybody wants to do that. You
My
still want
suggestions
it.
for the first month or two is just look at this, see how that works, how we're comfortable with it.
Yep.
And then we can make an adjustment after that period of
For a
time.
few months, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll have print,
print.
two hard copies, and that'll be it.
I would also warn against scanning, because what would be the data usage for making this spreadsheet and printing it out and making a scan of it, which is actually a picture of it, the data usage would go high. I don't know if you scan it anyways to store it, but after a while that...
A lot of scanners will convert it automatically to a PDF.
Okay.
Yeah, we have tabletop scanners at your desk, and they just scan it. So that wouldn't take 30 minutes, I don't think.
You know, it doesn't, you may not think it's much, but when you get down to it, this is at least $1.
And it's a small,
Every time.
way. It's a,
Times 7.
It's just tiny. It's just a little bit, but it's moving into the 21st century.
Yeah.
You know, and try it.
Yeah.
You know, if we could even print them all out every.
Also, same thing
meeting,
I
and then
thought
after a
of.
while,
They're
say,
trying
you
to
know
move
what? I never
Catherine
even
into the
used it,
21st.
you know?
Sounds great.
Now,
first thing I
town's
thought of.
focus is like the notebooks. Why don't you buy the budget committee notebooks?
That's the first thing I thought of the other night when I was watching the nightly news, and you see the
Oh, it's something you
federal
can put in for.
federal budget being spit out of the printing press, and it's that thick, and you know they probably do 50,000 copies of it.
And the school budget, they have laptops, not tablets, right?
Tablets.
Well, we have notebooks.
Notebooks, okay.
Each one gets everyone gets a notebook, and what it is sent through PDF. And if you want a hard copy, they will put one together, but for the most part, we just sit there, bring it up, and it's right there. You can it has a function where you can actually put in notes on specific line items right then and there, and you can work it out. And I think it's something that we should at least try
Anything new and different.
at this point in time.
Sounds great. So, we'll see some.
I think you're going to see a request for tablets now, next year for budget committee.
Which is, well, what, we wouldn't do that to you?
I will. I've already written a letter while we're standing here on my phone.
Okay, anything else?
I saw one item that the cemetery had 100% of their budget expenditure, I think it was page 8.
What usually happens?
Well, no, we get, that's monies that we give to outside agencies, and some of them, we give them the whole amount.
Oh, okay.
All at one
For their
time.
budget, for their
Some
yearly, yeah.
some get it 4 times a year. I think the Pines gets it quarterly.
Gives it a, Park Cemetery is our
Yeah,
town
so it
municipal
depends on how
cemetery,
they request
and
it.
they get it upfront.
I had one question. It was Highway Department miscellaneous expense, 60% spent,
Where are you?
page 5.
That might be the truck driver.
I mean, it's not a lot of money. I was just curious what miscellaneous expense,
That's, if they have to go to Home Depot and get a...
nuts, bolts,
you
or
know,
something.
Nut, bolts,
Yep.
plexiglass, I mean, they had to repair a window up at the senior center, the outbuilding. They had to use plastic, so they had to stop and get plastic for that. Though that's miscellaneous expenses.
So just basically unanticipated type things.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you go to page 23, it'll give you,
I was trying to find it, actually.
sometimes they, put a little explanation.
If it's current, you can
Yeah.
find it there. If it's not,
Yeah, we try to, as much as possible, avoid any miscellaneous
so there's employees,
account headings.
physicals, and Seacoast
that's kind of...
first aid and safety.
Everything should fit into some type of category. A lot of times, Tim will slide them out, put them into something else.
Yep.
You know, as it's for you.
There's still $400 that you don't know what it was for, but
Yep.
You can look at the previous months and see that you always get this page anyway. You can look at this previous months and see that was given out. You'll note that the highway department is very frugal.
does on the town selectmen website, and I don't know when the last time it was updated, but it still says that any purchase over $500 has to go out to bid. What type of thing would that? I mean, obviously, if they have to buy a transmission or something like that, I mean, you can't necessarily put that out to bid, but
If we bought the cruisers, we went out to bid on the cruisers.
Yeah.
We did an RFP. There were 3 bids that came in. If we're trying to get some work done, some electrical outlets here in the back so that we can plug our computers into, because this outlet doesn't work at all, and the one up there has a printer and a coffee maker into it. We would get 3 estimates if it's over $500. And that's what we would try to do. That's a policy. So if the chief were to buy uniforms or a specific type of equipment that was over $500, he would get 3 estimates onto what it was.
there's something.
Same way with
you can't-
highway.
You can only get it from one provider, I mean, you can't.
Some of it, you can only get it from
Right.
one provider, but, uniforms, there's a couple of providers, and there's a lot of, with the internet, there's a lot of online, so you can get a
Right,
lot
if
of
you had
things.
to go buy new windows or something at the senior center, you put that out to bid or things like that, or,
A contractor, you mean?
Yeah.
We would write up an RFP and say, this is the work that we would like to have done. And specify the work, and then we would send it we have a list of contractors over the past years that we've sent bids to, or they requested bids, and we would also post it on the website, and they could get it from there, and then they submit it by a certain date and time, and then we open them, and
There's a section on the website, I think, for any bids that are out or available get put up on
I've
that.
never
so
seen a section
general
on the
public-
website that's dedicated to current bids that are open or RFPs.
There's not one
Not
dedicated to that, but in
it's
the
on
main
front
page,
section of the main page,
in the
like
main
there's
page,
jobs
it's the most
available.
current events.
Right.
So there's, it would say a little bit about the senior center, what's ongoing, because there's a lot of different events that happen each week. Right now, it's Nate Morrison, Help for Nate, the fund, and there's also
Me?
a job. There's an employment application there for
I just looked at other
Riverfront
towns, and
Park.
I see a listing on some of their websites that are, projects, and it has, what the bids were and who they went to and things like that, and, just letting everyone know.
Awarded.
Just letting everyone know if they were.
Oh, the awards itself.
What was,
We-
who got the bid,
Who got the bid and what was
Yeah.
awarded?
and then have,
Through the selectmen, if they watch the minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it in public. We open the bids in public, and we award the bids in public. And we send letters to the people that didn't get the bids, thank...
And that's all on the website.
could they
Well,
have,
it's not on the website. It's with the video.
Your
is,
meetings
yes.
are on the
Right,
website, yes.
Right,
yes.
so
what
I
I'm
shouldn't have
saying.
to sit through a 3-hour-long meeting to try to figure out when.
yeah, could
Well,
we
come to
have
their
a
meetings
topic
then.
that says bids and say there are no open bids now?
I just,
I can bring it up.
Yeah.
You can
I'd be
read the
glad to
minutes.
bring it
In
up.
Tim's spare time, he could set
Yeah.
it up.
it was sometimes they're 3 months.
How much will that
Sounds like he
cost
doesn't
us to
have
pay
much
Kim?
spare time.
Well, we excused him from attending the meetings.
He's
And-
got Sunday, after church and before lunch, he gets...
And that's the other thing, if you do need information from Tim on something, to email him, and then that way he can take care of it when he gets to it, as opposed to phone calls. Yeah, previously, I would call up and ask a question, or Tony or somebody else, and can imagine what his workday would be like, so.
And his email is finance@tiltonnh.org.
And if you email him on Mondays, don't expect to hear back till at least Tuesday.
Right, because he does payroll.
Okay, now there was something for non-public, so,
Only if you finish with the...
I would just like to just end by saying I would like to thank the Select Board and the agency heads and the agencies for last year's cooperation and dedication to the budget process. I don't think that they get enough credit for the hard work that they put into that budget and the thinking they put behind it. And the town meeting was just so quiet, which is just amazing some days, and it was well-structured. So I want to extend my thanks to both to the Select Board, the agency heads, and the agencies for doing such a good job. And I would like that passed on to
I will.
to folks, that we appreciate their cooperation and their understanding.
Thank you.
works good. Anything else?
Great effort on everyone's part.
Okay, for going into non-public.
So I would make a motion to go into non-public as per RSA 91A:3, category public safety.
Seconded?
Okay, we
Roll
have
call vote.
a motion and a second, and we don't do any discussion on that, or?
Just a roll call vote.
And a roll call vote
Yes,
on that?
Yes.
What are we voting on?
to go into non-public.
Yes.
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 And yes.
Say for the camera, we're back.
Can we seal the minutes?
Okay, we're back to the public portion of the meeting after coming out of non-public. Motion,
I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public meeting as they pertain to public safety.
I
Seconded?
second.
we have a motion and a second to seal the minutes because they pertain to public safety. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimous. That's
Mr.
it.
Chairman, I'd like to make the most important motion of the evening, the motion to
I said permanently, yeah.
make a motion that we dismiss.
Second.
Motion and a second to dismiss. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you for the use of your pen.
Okay, so
Just to have one, it only says
And Pat,
I want chocolate.